Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video that I haven't done in a while, and that is a letter with me video. And I thought that I would do the video using Crayola markers, just in case you haven't seen how you can create amazingly beautiful hand lettering using these markers that were about $3.50. I purchased these at Target. I got 2 packs because I couldn't remember. There's a pack that I really like the colors of, and I couldn't remember which one it was. I knew it was like not just the basic ones, and this one's called the bright colors and this one's bold and bright colors. I think it might be this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and open these up, and maybe I'll do a little swatch of the colors just so you can see while you are grabbing your supplies and test out the colors. I think there might be some duplicates, but we'll see. I'm also going to be using this worksheet set, which is the large brush pen bundle. It has the simplified style, it also has the elegant style, and it has the flourish style. So I don't know if we are going to practice the letters. I may just do the words from the word practice pages, but I will test out these markers and then get to that. So let me just test these out. I also have like some leftover coffee that was hot this morning, and you know, mom life, it is not hot anymore, so I just threw some ice in it and now it is iced coffee. So excuse that, there's not much left. So let's go ahead and see. I did take some of these out, but I think I just took them out from the other pack. There are some of these colors that are really beautiful and bold. I think it is this pack. I think it's this blue that I love. Let me make sure you are nice and in focus. And yes, so this one says bright colors. This one says bright and bold. I'm thinking it's the bold colors that I like, and maybe the bright ones are duplicates. Let's see. This one. And okay, yes, they're like beautiful jewel tones. Can you see that? I mean, and just Crayola markers. I don't know which ones are bold then. Battery charged blue, primrose, and tropical violet, I think is what I tried. Oh no, that might be teal. Yes, teal. Okay, so battery charged blue might be my other one. And I'm just gonna pick out some of my favorites, but I will test them all out here just to show you as well. Sorry, I did not put these in rainbow order. We're just kind of getting a random assortment of colors. Okay, those two look really similar. That was battery charged blue versus blue lagoon. And then this is infrared. That one is really pretty too, but I would call that a bright one. And hot pink. And then I have electric lime and seafoam green, which, yep, that is what that looks like. So I do like these colors like more than just the first 3, but I think these first 3 are the ones that I was remembering that I really enjoyed using because they're just super bold and vibrant. So I'm gonna leave those out to use for my letter with me today. And then let me look and see what this other pack has. This says, this one doesn't have the colors on the back. Let's go ahead and see what's included. So this one is, oh, infrared. I know I already did that one. Ultraviolet. I guess I'll just go ahead and put them all on here so you can see what they look like together. Wow, that is a very big difference between that thickness and that thickness. This one is blue bolt. Oh, that's a pretty one too. And then this one is electric lime again. This one is laser lemon. This one is orange circuit. This one is hot magenta. I almost feel like this could go with my first 3 up here. Maybe not. And then this one is graphic green. That one looks really similar, but a little bit different maybe than that one. I missed one down here. I missed hot pink. All right, so that is the color from the Brights pack, and the top one is the bright and bold, or I guess minus this one right here. So if you've never joined me for a letter with me video before, these are where I try to keep the video in real time. so that you can practice right along with me. So I like to use worksheets. It just helps me to stay on track with what I'm doing and not like accidentally show you a bunch of different styles. But this one I guess does have 3 different styles, so we might do these 3, but that way I'm not like jumping back and forth from style to style unintentionally. And so I like to use worksheets, but you don't have to use worksheets with me. You can just follow along with the word that we're practicing. Like I said, I do leave these in real time, but I am kind of getting over a cold, so if you see jumps around or something like that, I may just be coughing and I may have had to just start it over. So thank you for your patience with that. I'm gonna use these 3 colors and then I will get rid of this little swatch thing. And then I also have tracing paper. I just like to use tracing paper to not have to keep printing out my worksheets. This is the Kansan tracing paper. Let me show you. I actually just folded it in half, so it's this big one here. I just folded the pieces in half like this way, and then I just tore them. I didn't even use the scissors. It was pretty easy, and they tore really nicely. So I have a few pages. They are smaller than my page here. They're the same height, or at least similar height, but they're about a little bit shorter. You can see it ends right here. But I think that's gonna be okay because when it comes to these words, they don't typically go all the way across the page. So I thought that I would still do that so I could get like 2 pages out of 1 and save even less paper. So let's go get ahead and get started. I'm trying to decide which style to start with. I wanna kind of go in order just because I like going in order, but I do feel like I've shown you guys lots of lettering using this more simplified style, so maybe we should start with the elegant style. I'm really loving that one, and I think it would be fun to show you how you can create like a beautiful, elegant style of lettering even with a Crayola marker. Now look at that. My first one doesn't fit on this page after I said that I didn't think it would be an issue. Well, we're just gonna skip to B, and that's okay. So let me just kind of line this up here. Typically when I use tracing paper, I would use this to kind of keep it together or some kind of paper clip, but because I'm going to try to like squish as many things as possible onto this page, I am just going to kind of hold it with my hands. So let's go ahead and get that kind of lined up. I'm kind of lining it up with this top line right here. Doesn't really have to be a big deal because it is just practice, right? And let's go ahead and get started. If you have never used these Crayola markers before, I use them similarly to a brush pen, but they are not a brush pen because the marker tip, while it is a little bit flexible, it's a lot more firm. So one thing that happens is it doesn't always bounce back. The tip will sometimes just stay kind of sideways like that. And that's not a big deal because what you just do is you just rotate your marker if it gets to be like where it's not allowing you to get those thinner upstrokes. I don't usually find that that's a huge issue, especially on a smooth paper. I do have my worksheets printed out on HP Premium 32 paper, but I find that tracing paper is nice and smooth too and like really enjoyable to write on. If you have a more textured tracing paper, that's not what I'm talking about. I really like a more smooth tracing paper. And so when it comes to finding paper, if you cannot find that more smooth paper, then you could just print your worksheets or whatever you're using on like your normal copy paper, and then just make sure to always use tracing paper. That being said, I mean, this brush tip, it's like made for, you know, not necessarily for hand lettering, but I think that these are pretty sturdy markers. So I don't think you're gonna find any fraying when it comes to these. So if you don't wanna use a smooth paper or you don't have one, you're not probably gonna hurt your Crayola markers in the same way that you would if you used a textured paper on like a Tombow brush pen. So if you are struggling to find a smooth paper, these might be a good option for you too. Again, like it's not an exact copy of how you use a brush pen, but I do feel like the outcome is just so pretty. Like you wouldn't think that you could get this type of lettering from a like $3 kids marker. And I mean $3 like for the whole pack. I can't remember the exact price, but I do think that these colors that come in that bold and bright pack. These are really vibrant. I should compare them to some of the other ones. I just think they're so pretty. They're like, they look like I used, in my opinion, I feel like they look like I used an expensive brush pen. And I really just used a Crayola marker. So good, right? And that is, okay, I have another one that doesn't fit, so I'm gonna skip encourage. Okay, so I guess when it comes to making your paper smaller than the actual paper, maybe this is going to be a little bit tricky, but that's okay. I also think, oh, grateful, I'm gonna still make grateful fit. I'm just gonna shorten my G there. But first, let's just skip encourage and we will go to dream. So when I created these, I did do them in alphabetical order, but we are going to get out of alphabetical order pretty quickly. That's okay, because I just wanted to save some paper so that I'm not going through so much. So this next one we have is faith, and I tried to create alphabet words, like where each started with another letter of the alphabet, but I also tried to keep them on a theme of like kind of motivational or inspirational words. And when I got to the X, I just could not think of one. So I have a word, I believe it is, if I remember correctly, I believe it is example. No, I think it's example. There was one that I used and then I ended up changing it. I think it's example though. And so if you can think of another one that starts with an X, and X isn't just the second word, feel free to let me know. I'm happy to do some updates later on if we can find a fun word that starts with X that kind of goes along with the theme. But for now, I had to do one where X was the second letter. All right, so let me see if I can position this. So I'm a little bit short right here. It's literally not very much, so it's just right there. So I'm just gonna try to create my G. Can you see that? And then I'm just gonna go a little bit shorter than my page. That's all right. Perfect. Now I might have to do the same thing with my L, but kind of shorten it on the opposite side. I just have to be careful not to move my paper, because if I do, then I might really run out of space. Oh man, I picked up my pen to look up at my camera and make sure I was recording, and I kind of have a little bump there, but that's okay. I just like had this fear all of a sudden that I forgot to press record and that I've just been talking to myself here. And that's probably wouldn't be the first time that's happened, but it is a bummer when that happens. Okay, so I have done what I can off of this page without running out of space. Let's move to the next page. All right, I had to pause for a second to get all my coughing out, finish my coffee, and jump right back in. Let me see if I can line this up. I think I'm gonna line it up at the bottom so I don't all of a sudden have slanted lettering. It would not be unlike me to have my lettering slanted on the page. That's why I love using tracing worksheets, and even when they're blank, just using these lines behind what I'm doing so that I don't end up like drawing this way down the page, because that totally happens to me sometimes. Honestly, I think this blue, or teal I guess, is probably one of the prettier colors that I have seen with Crayola markers. Look at how it's just kind of has dimension. Oh my, can you stop rolling on me? This is what happens when we share in real time and kind of share all those like real behind the scenes hand lettering. I have pens rolling all over, and yeah, that's all right though. So I'm gonna rotate my marker because it is kind of like, when I come back up here, I feel like this upstroke, I'm not gonna get a very thin line. You can kind of see the difference between like that upstroke and that one. It's because when I came around here, my marker was tipped sideways or like bent sideways at the end. And so it just wasn't giving me a very thick upstroke. And when that happens, I simply just rotate that marker. Now, if you have never used, or if you've never done hand lettering before, or you've never used Crayola markers for hand lettering, I do still lift up my brush pen after pretty much every stroke. That is just habit for me. I think it's a good practice to do. It's not necessary all the time, but I just think it's like once you're in the habit, it's almost like just second nature. I don't even really think about it. And so, yeah, I think it's a good practice to help kind of like readjust and help to get that like neat and even and consistent hand lettering. Even when you're doing bouncy hand lettering, I suppose it's not always like even, but I just think that it helps to kind of like reset where I'm at so it doesn't all of a sudden start getting sloppy. All right, so I'm out of room on this page. I cannot do another one, I don't think, without cutting off like the bottom part of the word, but I did want to show you this by itself because isn't that so pretty? Crayola markers. I cannot believe how good they can look. All right, so let's move on to, I have a couple pages here. Let's just finish with this elegant. I do really like this style. So for that one, I kind of like did them all on the left side of the page. I don't really know why I did that. It was a little bit more difficult, but since I did it to begin with, I'm just gonna keep it going. And I have purple, so next I have this pink color. And we are on the word joy. So if you are following along with me and you are finding that I am going way too slow for you, or you need me to go even slower, that is totally fine. We're all kind of at our own pace, but there is a gear button on the YouTube, like the player. It looks like a gear. Usually it's in the bottom right corner, but you know, things always change. So if you're watching this later, it could have changed, but usually it's at the bottom right corner, and you can slow down or speed up a video. It's so funny because I try really hard to have a good pace. Sometimes I just don't want to do real time because, as you can see, this is so slow. So if I was doing like a longer lettering piece and I did it all in real time, my videos would be so long. I really try to keep things like a nice pace for you guys. But it's funny because on the same video, I can have somebody complain that it's too short or too slow, I mean, and then I can also have somebody complain that it's too fast. So I get it. We all have different preferences when it comes to the speed that we like to watch videos. Sometimes we like to letter along with it, or sometimes you might just like want to watch and you might want it to go a little bit more quickly. So that gear button is your friend because you can either slow it down or speed it up. I oftentimes watch videos in like 1.25 speed. I find that to be like, you know, nice that it goes a little bit more quickly without like the person talking, you know, like super, super fast where it's hard to follow. So I use that a lot, especially if I'm just listening to like a video where somebody's just like talking or sharing something. It's kind of like a podcast. I use that a lot. So if this is too slow for you, or on the opposite side, if it's a little too fast for you, feel free to just either slow down or speed up this video to whatever you prefer. Next, I am going to do, what color are we on? Pink. This word is going to take up most of my page, but that's okay. I don't know why I feel like I got a little slanted here. I love this M on this more elegant style, and it's so fun. I just feel like it's, yeah, I feel like it's fancy and pretty, but the fact that we can do it and make it fancy and pretty all with a Crayola marker, just I feel like adds to the fun of it. And as you can see, the next word we're doing is now, but as you can see, I do have my page pretty slanted. So if you are trying to figure out how to best hold your paper, I would recommend trying where you have some good range of motion and you can kind of move your arm freely back and forth without having to do a lot of like this back and forth with your wrist, because we want it to be comfortable and we don't want to strain ourselves doing hand lettering. And so that is why I hold my page this way. I used to hold it like way this way and just kind of like lean over my desk. That's probably not great posture. I'm talking about when I say I used to, like I think when I was like younger in elementary school or middle school maybe. I just remember always holding my paper super far to the side. But I think this is probably a pretty comfortable angle for me, and I'm not sitting perfectly straight on, but somewhat straight. Sometimes I get myself in more unnatural, like I'm not quite as straight when I'm filming because I'm trying to get the right angle where you can see around my hand, but definitely do what feels comfortable for you and where you're not like trying to strain your arm for your lettering. Okay, so the next word is overcome, and I didn't think it was gonna fit, but we've got it. And then I may just fit one more on this page. So when it comes to these letter with me videos, let me know if you want me to do more, and if so, what type of lettering style you want to practice with. I think it's really good to continue practicing, but I think it's fun to have somebody to practice along with. It's like that whole body doubling concept. So that's why I try to share these types of videos with you, to just help you and give you something to kind of like practice along with. And if you're looking for some examples of like how to do a letter, or you know, how I'm holding my pen, hopefully this will be helpful for you to watch as you are lettering on your own. All right, we are on to the letter P, and I am on to my pink marker. And then I think maybe I will be able to fit one more, as I'm just gonna kind of move this down a little bit, give myself a little bit of extra space. All right, I think we did it. I think we can fit the next word on here. All right, I'm just gonna hold it down. And sometimes when it comes to hand lettering with these Crayola markers, they are not going to get the thickest up, or the thinnest upstroke, I'm sorry. They're not gonna get the thinnest upstroke, and that's okay, because I don't think we always need to be looking for like that hairline upstroke. I think sometimes it can seem like you need to have like a super thick downstroke and a super thin upstroke. And while that does oftentimes show that you have like pen control, I don't think you need that just for like the beauty of the letter. This is not a this is not a thin upstroke. It is thinner than the downstroke, but it's not like super hairline thin. And I still think it's really beautiful. So I would try to just get a variation if I were you, versus trying to get like really thick downstrokes and really thin upstrokes. Just enjoy the process, and you do not have to follow like a specific, you know, size or thickness to create beautiful hand lettering. And so I would just encourage you to not worry too much or not overthink it, because again, Crayola markers, this was just a couple pages of one worksheet set, and look at these beautiful words. So I think I might actually leave you with that here. I don't want it to get too long. So I don't know that I'm going to get to the flourish lettering today, but if you guys want me to do another one and show you either the simplified or the flourish style, let me know. I can just show you two here with the worksheet set, because we do have these kind of exemplar pages at the front. So I gave you a page where you can see the whole style at once. I also have that with the elegant style right here, and then let me show you that flourish lettering style. So one thing about the flourish style is that we're not going to do a flourish for every single letter when we get to these practice words, because that would be a lot of flourishes. So this maybe is one that I should do kind of like its own video on, because this is like, I've taken the flourish lettering styles and tried to pair them with the more simplified style, so that you get like a balanced look when it comes to lettering. Because like I said, if you're flourishing every single letter, then nothing is going to connect together pretty much. So let me know if you want to see another letter with me video, and if you do, would you like me to go over the simplified style or the flourish style? And let me know if you have another brush pen you'd like to see, or if you want to do more with Crayola markers. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you find that practice really helpful. And if you wanted to grab this worksheet set for yourself, I will leave the link in the description box below, and you can grab that. I'll also leave a discount code for you as well, so you can get it on a discounted price. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.